there was actually never a moment when the Crown was fully committed to the words of Te Tiriti o Waitangi, different to the words of the treaty. This document written in English, which was a draft document that was never finalised. And that was the document that said that basically our ancestors gave away all of their mana to the British Crown for free, which in the context of 1840 is ridiculous. There were 80,000 Māori living in Aotearoa at the time and only 2,000 settlers. And most of those settlers were in Wellington, so they didn't even have a presence in the north, which is where Te Tiriti o Waitangi was created.
You know what, I'll give Edu some credit because he's a very convincing liar. I don't know if he believes what he's saying, but how he says it, the confidence in which he says it, is very, very convincing. So it's understanding why so many people have fallen victim to this Toitu Te Tiriti separatist movement, this ethno-nationalist movement. It's understanding. You know, he likes to talk about this English text like it's nothing, like it's insignificant, like it's of no value, like it's of no consequence at all. In reality, the English text, the English draft, he likes to label it, is the basis of the Māori text. You see, the English draft was written, and then overnight, the Māori text was taken from that. It was translated from the English text into Māori. And that is what was presented to Māori. It was supposed to be what the English text said in Māori, and this is very, very clear if you look at the actual documents. It's very, very clear if you read both of them. The only people who argue that they don't say the same thing are the people who are deliberately misrepresenting the meanings through revisionism to push this narrative that the Māori were deceived and that what the English text says is not true. And so that they can try and control the narrative, they can try and control what the text actually says to justify their ethno-nationalist and, frankly, Māori supremacist worldview. That's what they're doing. They're misrepresenting what the text says and misrepresenting the validity of the English text and what it says in order to push a particular political agenda. An agenda which has absolutely no business being legitimized, has absolutely no place in this country. Under no circumstances should you accept any interpretation of the treaty which treats people differently based on their ethnicity. Because that is what these people claim is true. And now Edu can sit here and say that, oh no, you see, it's not about being treated differently, it's just about Māori having unique rights, just as Taka Teferis would put it. You know, it's about these rights that Māori have, which are guaranteed to us in the treaty. All that was guaranteed to you in the treaty was that you would be part of the British Empire, that you would be treated as British subjects, have the same rights and duties as us. As non-Māori, that is. That's what it said. You'd be treated as equals under law. And for the most part, that has been true throughout. Article 1 is about a cession of sovereignty. That is a fact, and I've debunked your contention to it a million times at this point. Article 2 was not about the retention of Māori sovereignty, but focused more on the right of preemption of the British Crown on land sales, while still acknowledging the importance and protection and recognition of ownership of certain things for Māori. And it was important to clarify that there was indeed ownership under the system of Māori lands and so forth, so that the right of preemption could exist. And Article 3 was plainly about recognising that Māori would be treated with the same rights and duties as British subjects. It is not complicated in any way whatsoever. But people like Edu here don't want you to know that. They want to lie to you about the truth. They want to tell you that the Crown deceived Māori, that the English text has no validity, that the English text is not even closely resembling that of the Māori text, and that they get to dictate what the Māori text says because they're the right kind of Māori. Doesn't matter what Sir Apiranangata said, doesn't matter what Winston Peters said, because they're wrong, because they're the wrong type of Māori. I'm the wrong type of Māori. Forgive me for caring about facts and not wanting to treat people differently based on race, mate. Forgive me if I'm not a racist. Forgive me. You can be the son of a Te Pāti Māori MP all you like. You can be in charge of Toitu Te Tiriti. You can cover your body with as many traditional Māori tattoos as you like. That does not mean that you are a voice for all Māori. That doesn't mean that you're a fair representation of all Māori. That does not mean that you have a monopoly on the truth. That does not mean you get to dictate what the Treaty of Waitangi says. That doesn't mean you get to dictate what the average Māori experience in this world is, no matter how many times you try.